Hi everyone, it's Jenny at JC Cards. I hope you're having a great day. Following on from my video from a couple of weeks ago where I featured glam heat embossing, I wanted to take it one step further, carry on that same kind of fashion vibe, and I've got two cards to share with you today that I'm calling Vintage Chic Heat Embossing. We are focusing on the pearl powders this month for WOW, and I'm going to be featuring the WOW Gold Pearl, which it doesn't look like much when you look at it in the pot, but when you put it on that dark cardstock, and I'm using black cardstock for both of my cards here, it just looks amazing after you heat it up. So to start off with, I'm using this Modern Rose Blooms background stamp by Simon Says Stamp. I'm going to be using this on both of my cards today. And I have added my cardstock into my MISTI. I've stuck it down with some dry adhesive just so it doesn't shift in case I need to stamp this background twice. And I'm inking it up with WOW embossing ink. I have treated the cardstock with my powder tool, and it's extra important to do that, particularly with dark cardstock, because any embossing powder sticking where we don't want it will be extra obvious. So I'm tipping over the gold pearl, and I'm going to speed up the heat embossing here. I'm just using my WOW Jewel Speed Heat Tool, and look at that colour you get. That gold pearl against black cardstock is absolutely gorgeous. And you'll have seen on the pot that I showed at the beginning that I've got a little circle on the top of that pot, and half of it is coloured in with a black Sharpie, and that's to show what it looks like heat embossed in white and on black. And so this gold pearl looks amazing on white cardstock as well. I'm now repeating the stamping of that background stamp in the same way, but this time I'm heating it up with clear gloss. I just love that subtle look. Now another little trick you may or may not be aware of is you can add embossing powder with water as long as you heat it up before the water dries. And one of my crafty friends, Kelly, gave me an idea of mixing in the embossing powder in a mini mister. Now it won't spray because those embossing powder granules are a little bit too large for the spray nozzle itself, and it won't dissolve in the water either, but it provides a great vehicle for flicking. And you can flick that embossing powder with the water over the back of a dark panel, heat it up, and you'll get a drippy kind of spattered look using your embossing powders. I've used it earlier in a card. It wasn't on the video channel, however you can see it over on the WOW Facebook fans page where I created a night sky using that same technique, flicking gold pearl embossing powder onto a galaxy sky created with ink blending, and it looks really cool. Now getting back to the card, I've die cut this Altenew frilly frame twice from the black cardstock, and on one of them I've added 2 layers of heat embossing using the gold pearl, and it's 2 layers is just perfect for this, which is quite a fine frame. It doesn't fill in the detail, it retains that detail, it looks great. And I'm just going to adhere these panels down onto a black note card. I didn't do it in the video, but you could also emboss a sentiment inside the card using the gold pearl, and that would look really, really nice as well and keep the theme from the front. Now I'm going to adhere down directly onto the front of my card base. This is the clear card base. I'm going to adhere down the gold frame, and on the other one I will adhere down the black frame. So you've got black on the gold embossed background. For my sentiment, I'm using this Erin Lee Creative Love die that I've die cut 5 times from black cardstock. And before I stick them together, I'm going to repeat that same technique by completely coating the love word in WOW embossing ink and then heat embossing it a couple of times with the gold pearl. And then I'm going to glue all those layers together, add the gold one onto the top. I'm using liquid glue that dries clear. And doing it this way by just heat embossing that top layer, you get that black outline underneath peeping out. You could of course glue them all together first and then heat emboss, maybe coat the edges to get a solid sentiment. I'm then going to just glue it directly over the top of that frame and leave the card at that with the added interest of the gold splatters in the background. Now for my gold background, I did think about adding a black sentiment, and in the end I decided to add a gold mirror cardstock sentiment. This is Heffy Doodle Hello die. I die cut it twice, once from the gold mirror, once from vellum, which I offset slightly, and that just helps it stand out a little more from that gold background. And doesn't this look like some sort of prom dress or vintage dress? It's a vintage black lace dress. I love how it turned out. That's it from me. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It first appeared over on the Wow Embossing channel, so be sure to go check out that channel, give it a subscribe as well. The other members of the Wow creative team have some amazing stuff on there. You can find a link to the channel over on the homepage of my channel. I've got a bunch of videos on my channel featuring heat embossing. If that's what floats your boat, be sure to go check them out. Here's a couple you might enjoy, and have an awesome day. Bye!